Morning everyone, welcome to this public holiday in this short week. Hope you're having a wonderful day today and you're enjoying your run. We're allowed out to go for a run today or cycling or whatever, so I hope you make the most of that and time with your family. And today we're going to be following David through the desert as he's running away from Saul. That's been kind of where we're at in the story at the moment. And so we're going to be reading from 1 Samuel 23 this morning. It says, when David was told, "Look, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are looting the threshing floors," he inquired of the Lord, saying, "Shall I go and attack these Philistines?" The Lord answered him, "Go attack the Philistines and save Keilah." But David's men said to him, "Here in Judah we are afraid. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the Philistine forces?" Once again David inquired of the Lord, and the Lord answered him, "Go down to Keilah, for I am going to give the Philistines into your hands." So David and his men went to Keilah, fought the Philistines, carried off their livestock. He inflicted heavy losses on the Philistines and saved the people of Keilah. Now Abiathar, son of Ahimelech, had brought the ephod down with him when he fled to David at Keilah. And so in today's story, David's running away from Saul, and he hears, and Israel's not his responsibility now, right? Israel is Saul's responsibility. Saul is the king, David's not the king yet. Saul's trying to kill David. Yet, somehow in David's heart, he hears that the people of Keilah, who are Israelites, are being attacked by the Philistines. And so he asks God, should I help? It's not his fight, not his people, not his responsibility. But anyway, he inquires of the Lord says, go for it. David goes down, he smashes the Philistines. And eventually what happens, if you read a little bit further down, Saul hears that David's at Keilah. So he sends his army to come and arrest David. David asks God, "Lord, are these guys going to betray me?" And God says, "Yep, if you stay here, the people of Keilah will give you over to Saul, even though you've just rescued them." So David packs up his men and he pushes off. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. I'd like to just quickly talk about action and emotion this morning, because I think both of these are very important at the moment. Some of us perhaps were expecting stage 4 to look a little bit different, but we have to deal with our emotions and we have to take action. It's really important for both of these. So let's just quickly talk about emotion first up, because we've got to guard our own hearts. It's really important. So David, he inquires of the Lord, "Shall we do this?" And the Lord says yes. Now, generally for me, when God says yes, or I feel a yes in God, I want to do something, I'm keen to go. I'm super excited. So David goes to his men, he's like, God said yes. And his men say to him, "Listen, in Judah, as it is, we're afraid because Saul's trying to kill us. Now you want to go pick a fight with the Philistines as well? No ways." And David's response to that is really interesting, because to be dead honest with you guys, my natural response, if I've heard God, I'll just ride roughshod over everyone. God said, let's go. And it's really important. What David does then is he goes back to the Lord and he asks God again. And can I say this? I don't think everybody's in the same faith space as us at the moment. Maybe even you aren't in that same faith space. Maybe you feel like guys are saying, this is what God is saying, this is what we're going to do. And you're looking and you're going, "Brew, I'm fighting on this front as it is. And now you're telling me we've got to go pick a fight here as well. Maybe I feel like I'm just holding my family together now. Now you're saying, let's be generous and care for others, or let's reach out and encourage others, or it's okay. It's okay to be in that space. And I think it's important as well that as leaders, we don't respond with frustration to people when they don't see what we see. In that moment, rather than flipping out and being you crazy Philistine heathen and accusing them, to go back to God with the person and to be able to say, well, let's ask God again. I want you to hear God for yourself. And David was really good like that with his men, so that not only he knew what God was saying, but also his team knew what God was saying. And I think for our families at the moment, that's really important, to be able to spend time with our families and not just praying ourselves, but calling our children into the process, calling our wives or husbands into the process. With our businesses, if you're not in the habit of praying with your businesses and your business is opening this next while, can I encourage you, pray with them? Because they'll be a little bit afraid as well, what's going to be happening. Call them in, not just praying in your closet. There's a space to pray in your closet, but there's also a time when people are afraid, to call them together, rally the troops, and to pray together in the group. And the second quick thought out of this is David's, if you understand the story, the Philistines were a much more advanced civilization than the Israelites. The Israelites were wanderers, man. That's why when they arrive, you think about it, they've been wandering on the desert for 40 years. They arrive in Canaan with Joshua much earlier on. There's these giant walls. They didn't have catapults and TNT to blow the walls up. That's why God gave them the trumpets to blow. And they blew their trumpets and the walls fell down. And that's what made these guys terrifying. They were quite a primitive tribe of people. They were wanderers, hunter-gatherers. Yet they could smash these advanced civilizations. And can I say this? So David inquires of the Lord, should we go and take on the Philistines? Because he understood this, that it didn't matter if they weren't as advanced. It didn't matter if they didn't have the same tech as the Philistines, rocket launchers and stuff. They operated to a different economy. And friends, can I encourage you at the moment? We as a church, the Church of Jesus, we operate to a different economy. It doesn't matter what the situation looks like. It really doesn't. We operate to a different economy. God gives us wisdom and he gives us strategy that's completely different to what the world would think. God is able to speak specifically into our situations. If you think about this, David is traveling around with 400 men. How do you feed 400 men? It's a huge weight. You can raid, people for grain and whatever, but the more you do that kind of stuff, you become a bandit. And these people that you're eventually going to be leading as king one day aren't going to love you very much if you've been raiding them and helping yourself to all their stuff. So David goes down, he smashes the Philistines, and in smashing the Philistines, in being obedient to God, he gets access to the Philistines' livestock. They were carrying all this livestock around with them, both to feed their army, but also this was a Philistine raiding band, so they would have raided other places. So they had this livestock with him. And because David was faithful in fighting, it not only saved the people of Caleb, but it also provided for his people. And I'm trusting that God's going to be giving us amazing strategies. We've got to be wise about where we fight at the moment. We've got to be wise where we pick our thing. Inquire of the Lord. Who should I be partnering with at the moment? Where should I be working at the moment? Who should I not be working with at the moment? Be very wise about where we put our energy. But if we put our energy where God has called us to put our energy, it's amazing. Not only will we be successful there and help others, but God will provide more than enough to provide for us for our businesses and our families and for the things that we're going to be doing. It's so important to keep our eyes heavenward and keep our eyes outward. We do operate to a completely different economy. I believe that there are spoils of war, if you like, that God has got available for us if we will go out and not put down our spears and not give up and not get all bummed and sad and look at the situation. But we keep our eyes heavenward as we go out and we love others and we go out and we care for others and rescue and help. God's going to give us strategic partnerships and strategic relationships that will be spoils of war for the future. So that's a bit of a prophetic thing I'm feeling at the moment. So hope that's encouraging to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful public holiday. And we will not see you tomorrow because we aren't doing Saturday devotions at the moment. Those are family devotions with the families. But we will see you on Sunday. We're really looking forward to that. We'll be sending comms out. Looking forward to seeing you at quiz night tonight. Please, can you make sure, if you don't know details about that, you're welcome to drop me a WhatsApp message to ask me the details. It's going to be super duper fun. But have a wonderful rest of your day.